All right, it is time for my second TBR of 2022. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. This is going to be me picking from my TBR jars, and I actually have jars this time. Yay, 4 jars. And this is, so I'm going to pick from my 4 TBR jars to see what I will be reading next. I'm actually doing this video a little earlier than I expected. I don't normally come back till February to do videos, but I pretty much finished the titles. I'm in the middle of one of the ones from my first picks, and I will finish it by the next time I do my next reading planning. So I thought, let's do a video. I'm not quite up to like doing regular videos yet, but I was up to doing a TBR video. I will leave an explanation video up above and down below for generally what my like how I'm going to focus on do my reading with the jars and stuff like that. But generally speaking, what's in these jars is titles that are 300 pages and less from all of the different projects and challenges and lists that I am working through, and each of them is a different focus. I split the titles into 4 sort of big buckets: nonfiction, romance, speculative fiction, and everything else. So everything else is like, can be literary or historical or contemporary or any genre that isn't romance or speculative fiction. And speculative fiction includes sci-fi, fantasy, weird, urban fantasy, paranormal, you know, anything of that vein. So yeah, so I am really excited to do this. I'm really curious as what's going to be my next picks. And so let's just get to it. So here we go. This is for nonfiction. I picked this letter with the paw print icon. I thought writing someone a letter feels very non-fiction-y. And so yeah, so these jars, I will admit, these jars are pretty small. So it is a little weird, but I don't know. I put the pieces of paper, there's only 9 left because I picked 10, and I already, oh, one fell on the floor. Okay, it's got to be the one that fell on the floor. Ooh! All right, here we go. First pick for the second. Your voice in my head. All right. Wow. Okay. Your Voice in My Head by Emma Forrest. This is a memoir. It also is a book to film adaptation. I actually picked this for my 2012 book to film challenge. No, 2015 book to film challenge. I did do a 2012 one, but this one was from 2015. It's one of the few ones I actually didn't finish. I did buy it. I think I bought all of the books in physical format. That was before I had a Kindle. Oh my gosh. Going back in time. Anyway, so this is a memoir. I don't know too much about it. I think it has mental health themes or a mental health focus. Oh, although there is a line here that says a modern day fairy tale. I don't know. I am very surprised I didn't read this at the time. I was very, very excited about it. As far as I know, it has not been adapted yet. I think Emma Watson was involved in terms of when it was announced, but I think it was it hasn't moved forward for a long time. I don't know. I haven't looked. There was something else that was you know, sometimes that's one of the challenges with following book to film adaptations is like there's nothing, and then all of a sudden it's on Crave or it's on Netflix, and you're like, what? I didn't have time to read it. So anyway, I will, after I finish reading this, I will look up information on the adaptation. So this is 212 pages. I'm very much looking forward to this. The only reason I didn't read this back in 2015 was that I burned out. I made all of my choices at the beginning of the year, and by the summer, I burned out. So now I actually really know that making all of my choices at the beginning of the year doesn't work for me, unless I'm only doing one challenge, and even then, I find that it's not the best way to go. Okay, so romance next? Let's do romance next. So this one was an easy sticker, as romance often has something very, very visual. There were lots to choose from. I had lots of cute stickers that I could use for romance. So let's see. Oh, they're really, oh, they're really snug in there. What romance will I be reading next? Oh, fold it over. Ooh, A Case of Possession. Okay, so this is a historical urban fantasy male romance, and I read the first book, which is, I think, I can't remember. The series is A Charm of Magpies, I can't remember what the first one was called. I think it might have had magpies in the title, or it might have been called The Term Magpies. This is by K.J. Charles, and I read book 1 for the Vaginal Fantasy Book Club back in the day, probably 5 years ago or so, and so I picked up the wrong one. So this one is a series continuation. It's urban fantasy, paranormal, historical. It's available on Scribd on ebook and probably audio as well. I don't know, though I'm reading it on ebook. It is 221 pages. So we have 212 pages and 221 pages. I actually loved the first book in this. I actually gave it 5 stars, which I don't do very often. It was very, very charming, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm not a huge fan of historical mystery romances, which is totally its own subgenre. If you didn't know, it actually really is. Okay, so that's what I'll be reading for romance. And it's nice to have, I put some series continuations in here because so often we start series but not always continue them. Okay, next up we're going to go with speculative fiction. I went with this sticker, which is from Supernatural. It's one of the images from Supernatural. And so this one's really shallow though. The jar, not the genre. Okay. Oh wow, this is really full. Okay, it's gonna be this one. What shall it be? The Midnight Folk. The Midnight Folk. I am so curious if anyone has read this. So I have this folio edition of it. The Midnight Folk by John Masefield. Let's do a reveal. Oops. Let's not break the window. So this is, I believe it's a kid's fantasy, or I think it's sort of like set, like maybe even urban fantasy, like set in the real world with fantasy. Illustrations by Sarah. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce it. Ogilvy? But like, I mean, I think there's animals and, you know, magic, probably magic, because maybe, I don't know. I hope there's magic. So this is actually 198 pages, so it's just under 200 pages. So far, all the books are around 200 pages. This just looks delightful to me. So it has an introduction, but, and it's actually quite large print, so... Oops. Nope, too far. I don't want to see all the pictures. Oh, I'll show you the picture. You want to see the picture? I'm not looking. Is that the picture? So, I hope it's not the same one I already showed. Anyway, very, very curious to read this. I feel like something that's sort of gentle fantasy kids book feels just right. So that'll be my speculative fiction pick. So what's left is the everything else. So literary, contemporary, historical, what shall it be? And I went with a bunch of flowers for this one because it felt like a little bit of everything. So hopefully I'll remember that for next time. Oh, I think it's this one. Get this. The Stone Angel. Oh gosh, I am so happy. Okay, so I'll tell you why in a sec. So, The Stone Angel by Margaret Lawrence. This one I included even though it does go slightly over the page count at 316. This is the first in the, I can't pronounce it, Manawaka series, of which I have read the 5th and final book, which is The Diviners, which is one of my favorite books of all time. Like, I actually don't have, like, a top 5, but if I made a top 5, it would be in there. I'm so shocked I don't have, like, a top 5, but again, The Diviners will be in there. So this is the first one. This actually was made into a film. I forgot. I saw it at TIFF with my sister Jamie years ago, and I loved it. I don't remember the story that well. I remember it was a little similar to something else that was super popular at the time that wasn't Canadian, and I was a little like, but anyway, so yeah, and I even hesitated putting like a 300-page Canadian fiction book in here because, like, Canadian fiction takes me a lot longer to read, but I really want to read this. And even like earlier this week, I was thinking, if I read anything this year, I want it to be this book. Like, I almost cheated and just didn't pick from this jar because I wanted to read The Stone Angel. I actually had forgotten I was going to do that. I was like, I just want to read The Stone Angel. Like, everything else in all the jars, I want to read everything, but I'm like, this is the book I want to read. If I picked one book, this is the book I want to read. I want to read all of the books of Margaret Lawrence, and they take me a long time to read. So it's not great in terms of the jars, but it is good in terms of my longer term goals. And so if this one takes me longer, it takes me longer. I don't care. I imagine I will love it. And it will, like most Canadian fiction, crush me. Now this is pretty, well, actually that's not too bad for a font. So I'll be very curious to see how long this takes me to read. This is from, I don't know the year. I think it's, later book in the series is one of the Governor General winners. And but I just want to read all of her work. She only has 6 novels, 5 from this, as well as This Side of Jordan. And I own all but This Side of Jordan. And normally I don't buy books in series unless, I usually buy one at a time. But this, I was like, no, it's like whenever I see Margaret Lawrence, I just buy it. So, but I got it from the library, so I got it for $1, probably at Bookends. Wow, so this is very different from last time. So I have one digital read with A Case of Possession on Scribd, and then I have 3 physical reads, and they're all different. We have a hardcover with The Midnight Folk, trade paperback with, or trade with the Your Voice in My Head and The Stone Angel. Oh, wow. These 2 together might not be great. They might not be great. I will have to see how things go. These are the picks, the total. Let's do the math. I think they're all around 200. So let's say Stone Angel is 300. Midnight Folk is 200, so that makes 500. Your Voice in My Head is 200, so 700. And then Case of Possession is it's a little over 200, so 700. So it's probably about 950, right? 3, 5, 2, 2, and a little more. Yeah, about 950 total. So I'm not sure how long it'll take me to read these. The last set was a little all over the place. Some I finished very quickly, and one took a little longer for a variety of reasons, but that's fine. It's fine. So wow, this is a bit. Oh, this one. I feel like there's going to be a lot of feels. The last set was pretty exciting, engaging, and that kind of energy. These are all pretty feely, because even this one, the first one, I really felt a lot in that one. And all of these, I imagine, this set is all and have the feels. Well, maybe that is what I need right now. I have no idea. So that is my picks for this set. Let me know, what would you read first? The Stone Angel, The Midnight Folk, Your Voice in My Head, or A Case of Possession? I'm looking forward to seeing how things go. All right, thanks so much for watching.